Well. Hello everyone, I'm Postmaster Radio, and it's time to bring on the funny. Oh yeah, you're listening to Ujokes Weekly, the official podcast highlighting Jonathan Mangum's virtual comedy show Ujokes, where comedians compete against one another for the best joke possible. And in addition to that, there's more. You guys and gals on YouTube and Facebook also have a chance to compete. Seriously, guys, it is comedy gold at your fingertips, just like that. We've got a great podcast for you guys today and a couple of really funny jokes from comedians like Mike, Rayner, and Brian Palermo. We've also got jokes from Rose Abdoo and Maura Quirk. The only thing is, in this week's case, and this has happened before, one of these comedians is not a part of the Ujokes Top 5 Countdown for last week's shows. Who, you might ask, will be demoted to the Ujokes Extra segment? You know, that little bit at the end of the podcast where we go back and look at some of the jokes that didn't make it onto the Top 5 Countdown. Who is the unlucky victim? You'll find out at the end of the podcast, and of course, in between the Top 5 Countdown and that little extra segment, the Ujokes Awards full of additional highlights to come. Again, it's going to be a great show, but before we get started, very quick reminder. If you missed last week's Ujokes podcast, catch up now via the link in the description, and I might as well say it from now, guys, but do not forget, if you are able to and you want to play live, check out new episodes of Ujokes, Tuesdays and Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. You can play along via the Ujokes YouTube channel, link in the description, or of course, there is also Facebook, if you prefer. But enough chit-chat, let's get started! My fifth favorite moment from last week's batch of Ujokes shows goes to Rose Abdoo. Rose Abdoo, and this is for a game of Name the Movie, where based on the picture shown, she had to come up with a title, a funny title at that, word that pick from a movie. I feel like Rose kind of best describes this pick in her joke, so I'm just going to turn it over to her this time around. But anyway, hope you like her joke. I know I do.
That is Midnight Cowboy 2, and it's a remake with Kid Rock and Little Black Riding Hood, and they call it Kid Hood. It's Kid Midnight Cowboy 2.
Yeah, Rose, I think, best described it. And it must have made sense to the audience because Rose's joke won that game. Yes, it did. So congrats, Rose. Oh my god, what a great start to the countdown. For the fourth spot on the countdown, we go to the audience. Yes, you YouTubers and Facebookers have a chance to make the Ujokes Top 5 Countdown as well. This is not for Rose or Brian's episode, but for Maura and Mike's show. And as for the lucky audience member that gets to shine in the spotlight, the lucky one is Courtney from Last Show's Best. And in case you don't know, Last Show's Best, it's really simple. You see, not everyone can compete on Ujokes Live. There are some people that watch after the live airing, the live broadcast, but that's okay because you get to come back to the YouTube comment section or again to Facebook, whichever you prefer. You can still submit your joke, and if you're lucky, you could be invited onto the next show and play live in the final round going up against the pros. So yeah, now you know a little bit about Last Show's Best, but let's get to Courtney's joke. There was a game called Yoga to be Crazy, where based on the picture shown, you would have to come up with the best, and of course funniest, yoga pose name possible. Courtney called it, for the meditating clown, Getting in the Bow Zone. Getting in the Bow Zone. And that's how Courtney was able to compete against Maura and Mike last week. So that's amazing. Congrats once again, Courtney. I love the joke you had there. I know I was not able to come up with a good one myself, so props. So yeah, that was from Maura and Mike's show. And speaking of Mike Rayner, he's in the spotlight now for the third spot on the countdown. This is for a different game of Name the Movie, which this time shows a watermelon with fangs. Mike had two jokes in one, which I think really gave him an advantage in this game. His first joke was curse of the watermelon. So that's already off to a good start. But how does Mike make it 2 for 2? Well, those of you Harry Styles fans, you may know the answer.
Harry Styles sings the song, Watermelon Sugar! Ouch! Nice! I like it. I like the Harry Styles bonus joke on top of that.
The only thing is, did Mike win that game? The answer to that question is a big fat no. But I kind of liked his double joke combo, so that's why I put it on the countdown. Also, who has not been addicted to Harry Styles and his Watermelon Sugar song? There are some people I know that are addicted to that song, but I will not mention them for the time being. But for those of you listening, you know who you are. I can see you. For the second spot on the countdown, back to the audience, but it is not for Last Show's Best. Someone on the YouTube chat had a really good joke for a game of Happy Hour based on the picture of a monkey drinking beer. And by the way, in anticipation of your next question, yes, Jonathan's producer Josh does randomly find these pics. But seriously, shout out to James Jacques Waston from Facebook, who named the drink the Chimp-anges. The Chimp-anges. Yeah, how could I not love that one? It's punny. So punny. Bravo, James, bravo. And now for spot number 1 on the countdown. This has not happened in a while, but I'm gonna give it to one game, and one game entirely. Dumbest answer. This goes back to Rose and Brian's show. Not only did both of them have great jokes, but the winning audience joke was really good as well. And I'll get the audience one out of the way. Shout out to Sarah Ray Johnson on YouTube. The dumbest answer to what is the sun made of? Boobs. Yeah, not bad, Sarah. It was not, though, the winning joke. The winning joke did belong to Mr. Brian Palermo.
The sun is made out of unicorn dreams.
So, yeah, apparently a lot of you voting in the audience side of things really like unicorns. And admittingly, Rose Abdoo had a funny one for that game as well. And while I did not enjoy Rose's joke as much, I do have to admit, it honestly wasn't too shabby.
The sun is made of herd mentality.
Oh,
so yeah, all three of those jokes from Sarah Ray Johnson, Brian Palermo, and Rose Abdoo were all amazing. It was, of course, Brian's joke that won the game, so congrats. But you know what? When you have a game with all three jokes 100% enjoyable, that's got to be a really great moment on Ujokes, is it not? And with that, we close the curtains on the Ujokes Top 5 Countdown. And now it's time to say hello to the Ujokes Awards. Yes, the Ujokes Awards. And the first award of the night, Comedian of the Week. Obviously, Maura Quirk was the unlucky victim. None of her jokes made it onto the Ujokes Top 5 Countdown. So sorry, but do not worry. We will be coming back to her for Ujokes Extras. In the end, it was a tough call, but I'm going to give it to Mike Rayner, simply because of his two jokes in one, with the Fangs watermelon thing from Name the Movie, from his game of Name the Movie. It's not just because of the Harry Styles watermelon sugar joke, but again, two jokes in one, valuable advantage. Next up is Game of the Week. That's a bit of a tie between three games. Two of them are from both playings of Name the Movie from last week. Again, the one with Mike and Maura, but then also the one with Rose versus Brian. Both of those games were really good, and both of them had one really funny joke. I don't know which one of them was the better one, game-wise. But then this two-way tie becomes a three-way tie because of the dumbest answer game. Like I said before, when you have three solid jokes in one game, it's a valuable advantage, really valuable. And speaking of which, this leads right into the next award of the night, the Audience Award for the best joke from you guys, the audience playing along live. And we have a tie between two jokes, going back to Sarah Ray Johnson, boobs from Dumbest Answer, and for Happy Hour, the Chimp-anges joke from James J. Watson. I love both of those especially. And because this is Jonathan's show, I cannot leave him out of the awards ceremony, which brings us to the final award of the night, the manga moment. And this is going to go to, remember the Dumbest Answer game? There is admittingly another reason why I enjoyed that game especially. And this is because of a funny bit from Jonathan's producer Josh. Apparently, someone on Facebook, and I am not going to reveal the entire message for you right now. You'd have to go back to YouTube and Facebook and rewatch that episode, rewatch the end of the Dumbest Answer game for yourself. But apparently Ujokes is now a real show because someone on Facebook sent a spam message. Hearty Heart Heart. And Jonathan's reaction to it, I just loved it especially. You'll have to go back to that episode for more info, but that would have to be my manga moment for the week. So yeah, that about does it for the Ujokes Awards. Alright, and now it's time for the Ujokes Extras, the rejects, the jokes that come so close to making the top 5 countdown, but utterly do not. We'll get to more of a quirk in, I promise you, just a couple minutes, but right now, the first and second Ujokes Extras, they go back to name the movie. And just to be clear, I mean the game with Rose and Brian. As I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, Rose Abdoo had a fantastic joke, the winning joke, that Brian Palermo, I will admit, had a good joke as well. That being red state, blue state, first date, last date. Also from the Facebook chat, April Kerr, Emo and the Beast. Both really great jokes if you ask me. That's 2 out of the Ujokes Extras down, only 1 more left to go. And this is where Mora Quirk comes in, with a game of super villain. And this is for the pick, you might remember this pick actually, the clown, who's practically covered in balloons.
This is Farty Party Man. Each of those balloons is filled with toxic fart.
Yes.
Is
his name Marty by any chance?
Marty, the Farty Party Man, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, you heard her right, folks. Marty, the Farty Party Man. The supervillain that is silent, but deadly. Bravo, Mora, bravo. And with that being said, that's all the time I have for you today on Ujokes Weekly. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And do not forget, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, @Postmaster Radio. And to stay up to date with the Ujokes podcast, you can find it on Spreaker, Spotify, and it is also up on YouTube. So that's some good news, right? The account links are all in the description. And until next time, well, bye for now. See ya!